Welcome to the Trinidad Cast. This is episode 35, I believe, because last week was episode 34, and I'm definitely keeping track properly this time. It is what we're recording on the 17th of September 2023 in the year of the Lord. It is 8:17. We normally start recording at 7, but somebody had to go and play football today.
Yeah, and I mean, that is one way to look at it. The next way to look at it is, I was so dedicated. I left. It was a football reunion type thing. I left the reunion just to be here to record this podcast.
Oh, yo, let's give him a clap. Wait, you leave the match, like mid-match?
No, I play, you play a match and, after you
right, you have the line.
Eat and, yeah. I left the line early just to be here.
Wait, take a plate,
Yeah, of course, I'll put money towards it. I put money, so I must get a little eat and a little something to drink.
What had barbecue chicken and
Nah, they had
pilau,
rice and peas, or rice and obaji rice. You had stew chicken, you had fish,
right?
You had akra, and you had jira pork, jira chicken, and something.
That's a river line. I'm not in a football line.
Yeah. And this particular team, sometimes if you according to what time of the month you come, you just get horse too, like stew horse.
Hey, I hear about that. This is a tech podcast, just in case you're a first-time listener. We talk about technology, but we also do have lives. I hear when a horse get injured in in racing or whatnot, there's car race again, so they just put them down and take the meat. That's what's happened.
That is exactly what's happened. It tastes very good.
So one of the people who's play football have a horse link.
Yeah, they have some type of link, and they have access to horse meat.
All right. Yeah, horse meat.
Steal it down.
Yeah.
And
it's not a stew for long though, because it'd be tougher. But I mean,
yeah.
But it'll still be nice and it's strong chicken, very strong chicken.
Yeah. Sometimes, kind of Sometimes it's get guana and wild meat.
Not in this, really. Not now, because wild meat season.
Yeah, no, of course not now, but sometimes.
But yeah. I still find it weird that if you get caught with wild meat in your fridge out of hunting season, you get charged still. I mean, I ain't kill it now. It frozen, but you can't prove that. But anyhow, that's
technology.
That's a standard intro for those of you all who are real people, because we're real people. But we just love technology a lot. And uncharacteristically, we have 4 things to talk about today. 2 of them kind of linked to each other. One of them is the iPhone 15 launch this week. And we're not talking about the iPhone 15 and its features and the processor and all that. That might come up. But it's the USB-C issue that we want to deal with, because we knew that it was coming. How it came was a little characteristically uncharacteristic of Apple. It was characteristic of Apple, but we'll talk about it. Second thing is the EU picking on Apple, because they have a problem with the iPhone 12 in terms of radiation, and we had to talk about that because there's some scientific stuff and some technical things there that's very weird, and we had to talk about that. And then locally now, we had to talk a little bit about foreign exchange problems, because one of the banks, their foreign exchange, their credit card limit has been slashed in half, and there's some implications that can happen from that. And the e-money issuers list has been updated, and there's a new one that I don't know about, so I'm waiting to hear what you had to tell me about it, because maybe you might know who that particular one is and where they come from. I hope it's not standard to kind of thing. So there we go with story number 1. All right, iPhone and USB-C. So the iPhone 15 came out, and all the Mac fanboys are excited or not excited. Was the word. Just before we go into the USB-C part, how you think the world has responded?
I don't know, because for me, I'm one of those persons that I only really get excited and really get into something when it is I'm actually going to purchase it without the need for it. So if I needed an iPhone tomorrow, or even when I was building a gaming PC. If I was built, only when I'm doing it, then I would become enthusiastic and become an expert in gaming
for that
PCs.
period
So
of time.
for that period of time.
For that 2 weeks, everything about.
You could ask me anything about gaming PCs and I could tell you. But like with the iPhone now, like a couple of years ago, like a few years ago, it used to be on it because they probably used to come out with one new feature, that kind of different than what the others have. But now it's just like an iterative update. And a lot of the stuff Android had before, and so it's not really something to really go out and grab, get excited about. And like for me, I have an iPhone 12 and I have an 11, so, and I only change my phones when they die, and it's nowhere close to be dying, knock on wood.
Any smart technological person will not get caught in the technology cycle because we know exactly what's taking place.
Yeah.
So, you have iPhone 12. We'll talk about your iPhone 12 just now because you might be at risk. So, Apple released 4 phones, right? So, the usual, you have the 15, which is basically what I was calling the basic, the iPhone basic, in my view. Yeah. Then they released the 15 Plus, which is the Plus version of the basic.
Basic
then,
Plus.
Then they have the Pro and the Pro Max. Now, the Pros and Pro Max, they just get wild with... Most of the times, the new thing that they'll give you is a better camera or some sort of newer processor that will end up becoming the basic processor for the next year. So, a lot of people saying that the iPhone 15 is the iPhone 14 Pro Max 0.1, right? So, basically, wherever the Pro Max had the year before, the next basic iPhone will have that. But what they changed this year is they were forced to put in USB-C. Remember, the European Union told them, hey, from 2024, all phones must have a standard standard charger to reduce e-waste and all that kind of stuff. So some people thought that they would have wait until the last second to do it. But honestly speaking, it's not rocket science to put a USB-C connector in because they already had it on the iPad.
Yeah.
So they put in this USB-C. Cool, no problem. First thing, it's a standard USB-C port. No limiting, no nothing whatsoever. So it's not an Apple USB-C port.
Yep.
We were very concerned that they were going to create the Apple version of a USB-C port and say it only works with our cable. But they didn't do that. So I applaud them because they could have. They could have said...
Yeah, and the EU will have come back again with our next lawsuit.
Well, they could have said that it works fastest with our cable, but it will work slower with other cables. The EU could have fight that or whatnot, but they basically could have put a cable, a port in place that says, well, it will work with normal cables, but our cable is just better. They didn't do that. So I'm glad, right? Because I was almost 100% feeling that was going to happen. But then they did this. The 15 and the 15 Plus are limited to USB 2.0 data transfer speed, which is 480 megabits per second. And then the 15 Pro models support USB 3, which is 10 gigabits per second. Now, any new Android phone coming out with USB C3 on it, out of the box. Even the lowest end Pixel.
So think about it this way. How old that technology is. When did USB 3 come out? And when did USB 2 come out?
USB 2 was 2014, USB 3 was like 2017, 2018, somewhere around.
Right. Okay. How much years that?
10 years for the
5 years?
2.0, yeah, and then 5 years for the 3.
Yeah, so I mean, why would you put 10-year-old technology in your phones? When it have newer technology available, it's like Apple. Why you do that? Is that cash grab? That's what it is?
Well, it has a cash grab because it can't cost, because the USB 3 module, and like when you check the prices of like retail and wholesale and all that kind of thing, it's probably like 5 cents more to get the USB 3 module and put it in the phone. So these, I wouldn't call them criminals, these entrepreneurs, these capitalists have made a distinction between the standard of USB-C that you could use.
Okay. But all right. Let me say, Apple wanted to have, the premium phones, the pro phones, and then, the regular phones, as you say, the basic phones. But why in a pro phone, and the base pro phone, or the Pro Max or whatever, any base Pro phone is still put USB 2?
No. No,
And it's only the Pro Max that have USB 3, if I'm not mistaken.
well, yeah. No, the Pro now. Both of the Pros have
You sure?
the 3. Well, that's what I'm reading right here. While the Pro models support. Yeah. The Pro models have it with the higher one, right? Now, in terms of speed and data transfer over cable, does a Pro iPhone user use their cable more than a normal iPhone user to justify to say, the people who buy any normal 15, they're never going to transfer anything from their cable to anywhere because they're not Pro. But the Pro people, we need to give you 10 gigabits per second because you are Pro. That's my only justification, and it's the weakest justification I could find besides something to differentiate the Pro from the basic that I don't even know why they need to, because it have like a better processor and more cameras and that kind of stuff. Yeah. All I want to say is they didn't have to do this. There's no justifiable reason to put a slower USB-C cable when the other one is there. And it's such an Apple thing.